Iraq is a paradox written in sand and blood. The land where civilization began, where humans first tamed rivers, built cities, invented writing, where Abraham walked and empires rose for 5,000 years. And then, silence. Decades of war, sanctions, invasion, sectarian violence, the rise and fall of caliphates. Cities reduced to rubble, ancient sites bulldozed, entire populations scattered like dust. The world looked away. But Iraq did not disappear. The Tigris still flows. The Euphrates carves its ancient path. The marshes, drained then reborn, pulse with life. The mountains hold their ground. And in the ruins of Mosul and Babylon, people sweep the rubble and rebuild. This is not a story of recovery. Recovery implies a return to what was. This is something else. A country that refuses to be erased. A landscape that outlasts its wounds. A people who carry 7,000 years of memory in their blood and build tomorrow with their hands. This is Iraq, not as it was, not as the world imagined it. As it is. "7 million people. Baghdad wakes before dawn. Generators hum. Chai vendors light their burners. The Tigris cuts through the city like a scar that never healed. This was the heart of the Abbasid Caliphate, the largest city on earth in the 9th century. Libraries, universities, observatories. The House of Wisdom translated the world's knowledge while Europe slept in darkness. Then the Mongols came. Then the Ottomans. Then the British. Then war after war after war. And yet, Baghdad stands, not intact, not pristine, but standing. The bridges carry traffic. Markets overflow with oranges and kebabs. Children play soccer in bombed-out lots where buildings used to be. At night, the city glows, patchwork, defiant, alive. The river flows north to south, 1,850 kilometers from the mountains of Turkey to the Persian Gulf. it has always been brown. Not polluted, though it is now, but carrying the silt of Anatolia, the clay of Kurdistan, the sediment of millennia. The Tigris does not apologize for its color. It built Mesopotamia with that mud. You see it in every direction, cutting through Baghdad, slicing past Mosul, feeding date palms and wheat fields. The ancient Sumerians called it Edigna, the running river. It still runs. In spring, snowmelt from the Taurus Mountains swells the current. The water rises. Farmers watch. Engineers monitor the dams. The river tests its banks. And every year, it holds. 2,800 kilometers, longer than the Tigris, slower, wider, more patient. The Euphrates begins in Turkey, crosses Syria, enters Iraq near Al-Qaim. It curves south like a question mark, joins the Tigris at Kurna, and becomes the Shatt al-Arab. Together, these rivers fed civilization for 7,000 years. Babylon rose on the Euphrates, Ur, Uruk, Eridu. Every great Mesopotamian city anchored itself to water. Without the rivers, Iraq is desert. With them, it is Eden. But the rivers are dying. Upstream dams in Turkey and Syria siphon the flow. Climate change shrinks the snowpack. Droughts last longer. The water level drops year after year. You can see it in the exposed banks, the stranded fishing boats, the villages that once sat at the water's edge, now a kilometer inland. And yet, people adapt. They dig deeper wells, shift to drought-resistant crops, ration, survive. The Euphrates still flows, weaker, thinner, but flowing. This is the spine of Iraq, two rivers that refuse to die. They built the first cities, watered the first farms, witnessed the first empires. They are still here. "90 kilometers south of Baghdad. Babylon is rubble pretending to be ruins. The Ishtar Gate, reconstructed by Saddam Hussein in the 1980s, stands blue and garish, nothing like the original. The bricks are stamped with his name. Archaeologists call it vandalism. Tourists call it a photo opportunity. But beneath the reconstruction lies something older. The city where Hammurabi wrote his code, where Nebuchadnezzar built the Hanging Gardens, if they existed, where Alexander the Great died in 323 BCE, where empires collided for 3,000 years. You walk the site and feel the absence more than the presence. The Tower of Babel is gone. The gardens are gone. The temples are dust. What remains are foundation stones, crumbling walls, and the faint echo of what this place once meant. Babylon is not impressive, but it is undeniable. The ziggurat rises from the desert like a warning. Ur was the city of Abraham. The Sumerians built it 4,000 years ago, a temple to the moon god Nana. 3 massive tiers of mud brick, steep stairs, a flat top where priests once burned offerings. The British excavated it in the 1920s. Saddam restored portions in the 1980s. Now it sits in the middle of a military base, guarded by barbed wire and Iraqi soldiers. But the ziggurat does not care about politics. It has outlasted every empire that claimed it: the Sumerians, the Akkadians, the Babylonians, the Persians, the Mongols, the Ottomans, the British, the Americans. It is still here. You climb the stairs, uneven, worn smooth by feet long dead, and at the top, the desert spreads in every direction. Flat, brown, endless. This is where civilization began. Not in Greece, not in Rome. Here. "35 kilometers southeast of Baghdad. The Arch of Ctesiphon is the largest single-span brick arch in the world. It is all that remains of the Sasanian capital. The palace once stretched for kilometers. Throne rooms, courtyards, gardens. Now there is only the arch, 25 meters wide, 37 meters tall, leaning slightly, held together by gravity and stubbornness. The bricks are hand-molded. No mortar, no steel reinforcement, just clay fired in kilns and stacked by Persian engineers 1,600 years ago. It should have collapsed centuries ago, but it stands. Cracks spiderweb the surface. Chunks have fallen. Iraqi engineers brace it with scaffolding and prayers. Every earthquake threatens to bring it down. And yet, the arch holds. You stand beneath it and look up. The vault swallows the sky. The silence is enormous. This was the rival to Rome, the empire that fought Byzantium for 4 centuries, the civilization that preserved Greek philosophy and invented algebra. One arch. That is what remains. The oldest cities on Earth. Eridu, according to Sumerian mythology, was the first city ever built. The gods created it before the flood. Modern archaeologists date the site to 5,400 BCE, 7,000 years old. Now, it is a mound in the desert. No walls, no temples. Just a low hill of compacted earth where the wind scrapes the surface and exposes pottery shards. Uruk is larger, more excavated. The Ziggurat of Anu still rises above the sand. This was the city of Gilgamesh, the king who searched for immortality and found only mortality. The walls of Uruk once stretched 11 kilometers. 5,000 people lived here at its peak. They invented cuneiform, the first written language. Now, the site is empty. You walk the trenches dug by German archaeologists. You see the bricks stamped with cuneiform dedications. You touch the walls that Gilgamesh supposedly built with his own hands. And you realize, this is not a metaphor. This is where writing began, where literature began, where humanity began recording itself. And the desert is swallowing it. The wind erases the footprints. The sand fills the trenches. The bricks crumble back into clay. Eridu and Uruk are disappearing. But not yet. The marshes are impossible. In the middle of the desert, water spreads for thousands of square kilometers. Reed beds taller than a man. Channels deep enough for boats. Egrets and herons stalking the shallows. Buffalo grazing on floating islands. It should not exist, but it does. This is where the Tigris and Euphrates slow and flood, where the water spreads thin and creates wetlands older than history. The Sumerians called it the Garden of Eden. The Marsh Arabs have lived here for 5,000 years. Then, Saddam drained it. In the 1990s, punishing the Marsh Arabs for rebellion, his engineers built dikes and canals. They diverted the rivers. Within a decade, 90% of the marshes disappeared. The reeds died. The fish died. The buffalo died. Entire villages abandoned their homes. Satellite photos show the transformation. Blue turning brown. Water turning dust. The world assumed it was permanent. But after 2003, the locals tore down the dikes. The water returned. Not all of it, not everywhere, but enough. The marshes refilled. The reeds grew. The birds came back. The buffalo returned. And the Marsh Arabs rebuilt. The villages float, not literally, but they feel weightless. Reed houses, called mudhifs, rise on small islands. Narrow channels connect them. Water buffalo wade chest deep. Children paddle canoes made from reeds. Smoke rises from cooking fires. This is a way of life unchanged for millennia. The Marsh Arabs weave reeds into everything: houses, boats, mats, fences. They fish with nets knotted by hand. They harvest reeds in the dry season and sell them in Basra. They raise buffalo for milk and meat. It is subsistence. And yet, they chose to come back. After the draining, after the wars, after the displacement. When the water returned, so did they. You see it in the rebuilt homes, the reconstructed mudhifs, the children who were born in refugee camps and now swim in the channels their grandparents once fished. The marshes are not pristine. Oil pollution seeps in from the south. Agricultural runoff poisons the fish. Climate change threatens the water supply. But the Marsh Arabs are still here. A small town on the edge of the marshes. Chibaish is a market hub. Fishermen bring their catch. Reed cutters sell bundles. Traders load boats with rice and tea. It is unremarkable, but it is a marker. This is where the desert ends and the water begins, where the dry air thickens with humidity, where the horizon shifts from brown to green. And the shift is sudden. One moment you are driving through barren land. The next, water spreads in every direction. The transformation is disorienting. You expect transition, gradual change, incremental adjustment. But the marshes appear all at once, like a mirage that does not disappear. At sunset, the marshes turn gold. The light catches the reeds. The water reflects the sky. Egrets lift off in white clouds. The air smells of wet earth and decay. This is one of the most important wetland ecosystems on Earth. A critical stopover for migratory birds traveling between Africa and Central Asia. A refuge for endangered species. A UNESCO World Heritage Site. But more than that, it is proof. Proof that ecosystems can recover, that water finds its way, that people endure. The marshes were supposed to die. They did not. They are shrinking again. Drought, upstream dams, climate change. The water level drops each year. The reeds thin. The fish grow scarce. And yet, the Marsh Arabs adapt. They dig deeper channels, shift to new fishing grounds, rebuild again. The marshes are not eternal, but they are not finished. Mosul died in 2017. The old city, 2,000 years of architecture, markets, mosques, homes, was flattened in 9 months of urban warfare. ISIS held the West Bank. Coalition forces besieged it. Airstrikes leveled entire neighborhoods. Artillery shells punched through walls. House-to-house combat turned streets into kill zones. When the fighting ended, 70% of the old city was rubble. You walk the streets now and see the scale. Buildings collapsed into themselves, walls riddled with bullet holes, staircases leading nowhere, rebar twisted like wire, entire blocks reduced to powder. And yet, people are rebuilding. Families clear rubble by hand, brick by brick. They salvage what they can: doors, windows, beams. They sleep in half-destroyed houses while they repair the other half. Children play in the ruins. Markets reopen in bombed-out shells. Generators hum. Life insists. Mosul refuses to be erased. The minaret is gone. The Al-Nuri Mosque, built in 1172, with its famous leaning minaret, the Hunchback, was blown up by ISIS in June 2017. The explosion was deliberate, symbolic. The minaret had stood for 845 years. Now, there is only a foundation. The site is fenced off. Reconstruction is planned, funded by UNESCO and the UAE. Architects debate whether to rebuild it exactly as it was or create something new. But the decision is slow. And in the meantime, the absence is enormous. The minaret was Mosul's icon, visible from across the city, a landmark, a symbol, a claim. Without it, the skyline feels incomplete. Five kilometers north of Mosul, Nineveh was the capital of the Assyrian Empire, the largest city in the world in 700 BCE. King Sennacherib built palaces, libraries, aqueducts. The walls stretched 12 kilometers and stood 15 meters tall. Now, it is a field of tell mounds and excavation trenches. ISIS vandalized what they could reach. They bulldozed the Nergal Gate. They smashed statues in the Mosul Museum. They filmed it and posted it online. But they could not destroy everything. The tells remain. The bricks still carry cuneiform inscriptions. Archaeologists are returning, slowly, carefully, documenting what survived. Nineveh has been sacked before. The Babylonians burned it in 612 BCE. The Persians looted it. The Mongols razed it. The site has been destroyed and forgotten and rediscovered multiple times. And yet, the ruins persist. Two hours southwest of Mosul, in the desert, Hatra is a ghost city. Built by the Parthians 2,000 years ago as a fortified trading post. Roman emperors besieged it twice and failed. The walls held. Then ISIS came. They filmed themselves sledgehammering statues. They shot at reliefs with rifles. They destroyed what they could. But Hatra is stone, and stone is stubborn. The temples still stand. The arches still frame the desert. The walls still encircle the ruins. The damage is real, but it is not total. You walk through Hatra and feel the defiance. Not human defiance, stone defiance. The refusal of architecture to vanish. The South. Basra is oil and war and water. Iraq's second largest city. The port that connects the country to the Persian Gulf. The city that has been bombed in every conflict since 1980. Iran-Iraq War, Gulf War, Iraq War, sectarian violence, protests, more violence. And yet, Basra functions. The port operates. Oil flows. The Shatt al-Arab carries cargo ships. Markets sell fish and dates. The city sprawls along the waterway, dense and humid and alive. But the scars are visible. Buildings pocked with shrapnel. Neighborhoods still without reliable electricity. Water pollution so severe that hospitals report mass poisonings. Infrastructure crumbling faster than it can be repaired. And still, the port runs. "60 kilometers west of Baghdad, Fallujah was the site of the bloodiest urban battles of the Iraq War. U.S. forces fought block by block in 2004. 10 years later, ISIS took the city. Iraqi forces retook it in 2016. The destruction is layered. Old war on top of older war. Now the city is rebuilding. Again. You see new construction, repainted facades, shops reopening, families returning. The trauma is deep, but the city does not stay empty. people return. They sweep the rubble. They plant gardens. They send their children to school. Fallujah endures. Because endurance is not a choice. It is the default setting of survival. The mountains begin where the desert ends. The Zagros range runs along Iraq's eastern border with Iran. Jagged, steep, unforgiving. Peaks rise above 3,000 meters. Valleys cut deep. Rivers carve gorges through limestone. This is Kurdistan. The Kurds have lived in these mountains for centuries. The terrain is their defense. Too steep for tanks, too broken for armies. Invaders come and go. The mountains remain, and so do the Kurds. You see it in the villages clinging to hillsides, terraced farms, stone houses, satellite dishes perched on cliffs. In spring, the mountains turn green. Wildflowers blanket the slopes. Snowmelt fills the rivers. Shepherds move their flocks to high pastures. In winter, snow buries the passes. Villages are cut off for months. Families burn wood and wait. The mountains demand endurance, and the Kurds endure. Erbil is the oldest continuously inhabited city on Earth. The citadel, a massive mound rising 30 meters above the modern city, has been occupied for 8,000 years. Layer upon layer of civilization, stacked like a geological record. Sumerians, Assyrians, Persians, Arabs, Ottomans, Kurds. The citadel is a tell built by humans. Every generation built on the ruins of the last. The ground level rose. The walls rose. The city rose. Now it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, restored, protected, mostly empty. The families who lived there for centuries were relocated to preserve the structure. Now the citadel is a museum. Clean, safe, lifeless. But from the walls, you see the modern city below. Erbil has exploded. Highways, skyscrapers, malls, construction cranes everywhere. The citadel is ancient. The city is now. A gash in the earth. Rawanduz Canyon cuts through the Zagros range, sheer cliffs, a river hundreds of meters below, a road that hugs the wall. The canyon is narrow, deep, vertiginous. You drive through it and feel swallowed. The rock is layered, sedimentary bands of gray and brown and red, millennia of geology exposed. The river at the bottom is turquoise, snowmelt pure enough to drink. Villages cling to the canyon rim. Tourists stop for photos. Kurdish families picnic on overlooks. But the canyon is indifferent. It was here before humans. It will be here after. The river keeps cutting. The walls keep falling. The canyon widens by millimeters each year. Erosion is patient. A 120 kilometers northeast of Erbil, Gali Ali Beg is the tallest waterfall in Iraq. The water drops 25 meters over a limestone cliff into a pool below. It is not Niagara, but in a country defined by desert and flatland, a waterfall is a miracle. You hike to the base and feel the mist. The water is cold. The air is cool. The sound is constant. White noise carved from stone. Families come here in summer. Children swim in the pool. Vendors sell tea and corn. The site is popular, crowded, ordinary. And yet, standing at the base of the falls, you feel the shift. This is not survival. This is joy. Iraqis laughing, playing, taking selfies, living, not enduring, living. Baghdad wakes. Generators roar. Tuk-tuks flood the streets. The smell of fresh bread and diesel exhaust. 7 million people moving at once. This is not the Baghdad of the Abbasid Golden Age. This is not the Baghdad of postcard fantasies. This is the real Baghdad. Chaotic, loud, alive. The bridges are packed. The markets overflow. Vendors sell everything: electronics, clothing, kebabs, pirated DVDs, goldfish in plastic bags. Horns honk. Music blares from storefronts. Arguments erupt and dissolve. Baghdad does not apologize for its noise. It is a city that survived decades of war and refuses to be quiet. The Book Market. Mutanabbi Street has been Baghdad's intellectual heart for centuries. Named after a 10th century poet, the street is lined with bookstalls, publishers, cafes. In 2007, a car bomb killed 30 people here. The street rebuilt. Now, every Friday, the market opens. Sellers stack books on tables: poetry, philosophy, textbooks, religious texts. Customers browse, haggle, debate. Old men sit in cafes sipping tea and arguing politics. Students buy used textbooks. Children flip through comic books. Mutanabbi Street is Baghdad's memory, not of what it was, of what it insists on being. Two hours south of Baghdad, Najaf is one of the holiest cities in Shia Islam. The Imam Ali Shrine, with its golden dome, marks the burial site of Ali ibn Abi Talib, the Prophet Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law. Millions of pilgrims come here every year. The shrine is a flood of gold. The dome, the minarets, the interior walls. It reflects the sun like a signal fire. Inside, the crowd is dense. Pilgrims press close to the tomb. They weep. They pray. They kiss the metal grill. The air is thick with incense and emotion. Najaf is intensity, not beauty, intensity. The city pulses with religious energy. Seminaries train clerics. Scholars debate theology. Bookstores sell centuries-old manuscripts. This is the intellectual capital of Shia Islam. 60 kilometers north of Najaf, Karbala is the site of the Battle of Karbala in 680 CE, where Hussein ibn Ali, the Prophet Muhammad's grandson, was killed. The event is the defining tragedy of Shia Islam. Every year, during Arba'in, 20 million pilgrims walk to Karbala. 20 million. It is the largest annual pilgrimage on earth, larger than the Hajj. The pilgrims walk from Najaf, 60 kilometers on foot. They sleep in tents. Locals set up free food stations. Volunteers distribute water. The road is a river of black-clad mourners. When they reach Karbala, they converge on the Imam Hussein shrine. The shrine is gold. The crowd is black. The emotion is overwhelming. This is not tourism. This is devotion. The Cemetery of Najaf. Wadi al-Salam, the Valley of Peace, is the largest cemetery in the world. 6 million graves, stretching for 6 square kilometers. The graves are simple, white stone slabs, names, dates. Shia Muslims from across the world are buried here. They want to be near Imam Ali in death. The cemetery is a city of the dead. But it is not silent. Gravediggers work. Families visit. Children play between the tombs. The cemetery is alive with the living. A 100 kilometers north of Baghdad, the Malwiya minaret spirals into the sky. A 52-meter cone of brick built in 851 CE. It is the only surviving structure of the Great Mosque of Samarra, once the largest mosque in the world. The minaret is strange, unique. Nothing else like it. You climb the spiral ramp, no stairs, just a gentle incline winding around the outside. At the top, the city spreads below. The Tigris curves through it. The desert stretches beyond. The minaret has been bombed, shelled, damaged, but it stands, engineered to last, and lasting. The Tigris keeps flowing. Not as strong as it once was, not as wide, but flowing. Baghdad wakes every morning. The marshes breathe, the mountains hold, the ruins endure. The pilgrims walk. The rivers carve their ancient paths. Iraq is not healed, but it is not erased. This is a land that has seen empires rise and fall, cities burn and rebuild, rivers drained and refilled. A land that carries 7,000 years of human history in its soil. And it is still here. Not as it was, as it is, alive.